Andrea Martin, we just finished watching the first season of Great News on NBC. What's it like working, I know Tina Fey's the executive producer, but what's it like working with her?
It's the most stable individual that you would want to be telling you what to do. And she doesn't. She's, you know, very modest, doesn't have a big ego, sits behind the monitor. Then, like, this is the pilot, like maybe once every hour we'll just think of a gem, whisper in your ear, and then it will really score. She's, I just have a lot of respect for her and Robert Carlock and Tracey Wigfield, who created it. Just a lot of normalcy and talent. It's a great combination.
You like a fast-paced show or movie or project that you work in, don't you?
Yes, I love it, and I love this show because it's so chock full of juicy comedy lines. It's really amazing. You know, they go by really fast. You kind of take it for granted because I think they're known for doing shows like that. There's no wasted air. There's no kind of exposition or now we're going to take time to describe something. They just, everything is just kind of a one-liner in the best sense. I don't mean jokey or sketchy. I just mean very rich and comedic material.
Tracey Wigfield worked with Tina on 30 Rock and won an Emmy for the finale.
Yeah.
What's it been like with her as a first-time showrunner?
Well, you wouldn't know that she was a first-time showrunner, and I think that's because Tina and Robert mentored her, really, and she learned from the best. You know, she's like the best kind of collaboration possible, and I'll tell you what that means. Hands in a great script that you can do, you don't need to do much with, but if you have a question, she'll think of another line. If you have a suggestion for a line, she'll consider it and let you do it. It's just, it's a great creative collaboration because it's open, not defensive, and welcoming. It's really beautiful.
This role, when I first saw the teasers and trailers before the show even debuted, I think I told Marcus, I said, this looks like a perfect match between Andrea Martin and this role. How would you describe Carol?
Thank you for saying it's a perfect match. I certainly feel when I'm playing it that it's, you know, I don't dare to use the word perfect ever, because then there's no way to grow. But I do feel that it's a really good fit. I love the character. She makes me laugh and giggle, and I think that's a great thing for an actor when they can actually delight themselves in lines or the way they approach a character. And I think that it's relatable to me because I have two sons, and I like playing that age person. I like that John Michael Higgins and I get to represent another generation, that Tracey's able to write two generations. So for moms out there, I think they get something out of it, and for the kids watching it too. I think it's very cleverly written in that way, so encompassing.
You and John together, whenever you're on screen together, that's just magical.
Yeah, I like that. I like John.
You come from similar backgrounds, and you both can find your way around the nuances.
Yeah, well, thank you, thank you. Yes, I don't think Michael ever did Second City, but certainly he's in the Chris Guest world, and you know, Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara and I did MCTV together, so it's one big family, and Second City is kind of a big umbrella for a lot of us on that show. You know, Tina, of course, did Second City, and Horatio Sands, and I know Tracey did Upright Citizens Brigade, so but there's, you know, commonality in language.
It's not a political show, but you are set in a newsroom. How does that fit in terms of your enjoyment of playing off of all of those types of characters?
In the newsroom setting, well, I think they've just kind of, you know, cherry-picked the best actors, and you know, Adam Campbell comes from Britain, so there's this crazy, witty, comedic delivery. Nicole Richie is a completely different rhythm. The way she delivers comedy lines, kind of chill. And John Michael and I come from the same background. Horatio Sands comes from Second City. I mean, so I think we appreciate each other's comedic observations, but I think there's great fluidity in the way we work together.
We've seen you on a couple of other things this season. You had a cameo of sorts on Kimmy Schmidt.
Yeah.
You and all the Carols from Human Resources.
Lindas, all the
Lindas.
Lindas.
The Lindas. You play Carol on here.
So funny.
How did that role come about?
Tina called me the night before and said, would you come and would do this part? And I said, of course, I would love to, and hadn't even read it really. And, came in for a few hours and did it and left. It was perfect. It's a good gig.
We were over on the Hairspray set as all of you were rehearsing, and then saw the live production that night.
Yeah.
You do so much Broadway anyway. How was it doing it differently on TV live?
Well, that's interesting. I think everybody thought they'd be very nervous when the cameras rolled, but there was so much, if you know from being there, so much preparation, so much camera work, so much rehearsal that by the time the cameras really rolled, I think it was just about acting and talking with one another. And one of the highlights for me was to work with people that I have loved and known, but had never worked with. Kristen Chenoweth, of course we know each other from Broadway, but it was so great to know her. And then Ariana Grande played my daughter, and she was such a hard-working, professional young girl. And then I just had so much respect for how she's her bravery, actually, real bravery and courage to go right back into the ring and do that, raise money for Manchester. So it was a highlight working with people that I hadn't worked with before. That was a big plus.
And Martin Short, that's always
Yeah,
fun.
well,
when
I
you two
see
get
him every
together.
day. Yeah, that's old hat. Sure, and Sean Hayes, a really close friend of mine. So Sean and Marty and I, and Jerry Mitchell, of course, that I knew, directed me in a choreographed Lips Together, Teeth Apart, the Mark Taper Forum. That was the first thing he'd ever done, and now look at him. And Harvey Firestein and I did A Fiddler on the Roof on Broadway together, and gosh, I did know a lot of people on the set. I'd never met I'd seen him on Dancing with the Stars, and now I can't remember his name.
Derek.
Derek, oh, he's such a talented kid. Yeah, it was great fun.
When the Tony Awards roll around, which were this weekend, and you were just nominated last year as well, in terms of many over the years, what are you thinking about as that's airing when you're actually not there? Because that's just such a celebration. Everybody in that room works within a few yards of everybody else.
You're absolutely right. Unfortunately, I was in LA and I only watched the first hour. It killed me. I tried to get it on public access, CBS and Hulu, and I couldn't figure out how to do it to get the live feed because I had to get up really early to do makeup in here at 5. So I wanted to make sure I was alert today. You're so right. I was really rooting for a few people, Rachel Bay Jones specifically, who was in Pippin, and really I didn't believe she got her due at the time, and I know it was really disappointing for her because there were 3 of us were nominated out of that show, and she was extraordinary, and I went up to her during it all, and I didn't know if it was going to make a difference to her, but I looked at her in the eyes and I said, Rachel, I promise you, your award is around the corner. You're so good. So I'm going to cry thinking about it. So that she got this opportunity. She's so great. So I was so happy for her. And I was happy for, I hate to say this because Nathan Lane's my closest friend, but I was happy for Michael Aronoff because he's really, just as he said in his speech, has just been around and struggling. There haven't been a lot of parts for him. I haven't seen Oslo, but so happy for him that he got recognition. And Gavin Creel, there were a lot of people. I haven't seen, and Bet, who I worship, but I did see Hello Dolly, and I was happy for everybody, and most specifically because I wasn't competing against anyone, so I can be very nice and generous now.
What is it like when you've got a category coming up at an awards show, and your category's next, and what are you thinking about?
I'm going to be really honest with you. You kind of, because of people like Gold Derby, because of this, you kind of have a feeling when you're nominated that you have a good shot or you don't. So for Noises Off, honestly, I really knew that I didn't have a chance, but I was so excited because I loved that show and I really loved the part, and I wanted the recognition because it was a hard part to do, and so I wasn't nervous. I went with my son. I was happy to be there. Then a couple of times when I did win for Pippin, everybody had said that was going to happen. So I'll tell you the nerves in that way. Then you're only thinking about the speech you're going to give, and you can't really enjoy the show. The best times to go, really, well, it's nice to win, but when you're not expecting it and you can just really enjoy it. So I guess there are two things that happen.
And tripping going up the steps, you have to worry about that.
You do have to worry about that, right? Yeah, and you have to get up there really fast because they give you 3 seconds unless you're Bette Midler, and then you get 7 hours.
Yeah.
And that's why I wish I were Bette Midler.
She thanked us last night.
She did. She did. She deserves it. You know, the very first time I won, which was in 1992, it was the first year they implemented the time thing. And mine was the first award, Best Supporting Actress in a Musical. And I wasn't thinking, I gotta do this in 60 seconds or whatever it is. I don't even know, maybe it was 30 seconds. The look on my face when they cut me off, just because I was carrying on the Lincoln Center, and I want to thank the people in Canada, and just carrying on like, you know, my name was Lady Andrea Martin, and they cut me off, you know, before I even thanked my sons. So this time I ran up on the stage. I've only got 30 seconds. It was most ungraceful walking up the steps that anybody's ever seen on the Tony Awards.
From what I read, correct me if I'm wrong, you've got 5 in the featured actress musical and the 1 from last year in play.
Yeah.
Nobody else has got 5 as featured actress in a musical. You've got the record for nominations in that one category.
Yeah, that's what I hear. That's nice. What will that get me?
It got you 2 Tonys.
Yay!
And speaking of awards, one of my favorite all-time shows, I was little, but I watched it every Friday night, was SCTV.
Oh.
Wasn't there a year that you all won for writing that the entire category was SCTV? So you knew, you didn't know which episode, but you knew you were going to win.
I honestly, I could be wrong, but I really think it was 2 years.
It was both of those?
2 years in a row we were nominated in all 5 categories. That was, when does that happen? It doesn't happen anymore because there's so many shows, but it was
Favorite memory from an Emmy Awards attendance?
What, say that again?
A favorite memory from one of those
from
Emmy nights?
I will tell you exactly. I remember so well because I was nominated that year. One year I was nominated for Best Actress in a Variety Show, or supporting, I don't know what the Best Supporting Actress in a Variety Comedy Show. And we were also, that was the year, that I didn't win that, but we won writing. But I was pregnant with my 2nd child and nobody knew. I just found out the day before, so I really remember that. I remember that for, yeah.
You know, there's so many reboots and revivals of shows going on with X-Files and 24 and Gilmore Girls and Twin Peaks.
And One Day at a Time.
And One Day at a Time. Could the SCTV crew minus John Candy get together?
Minus John Candy. You know, I don't, that's not going to happen. But what might happen, and I think what will happen, is that we will get together for, you know, a reunion, a documentary, you know, we are all so, we all come from different, you know, ways in which we see how the show should be put together. And so I think if we do come together, it will be a kind of a, I don't know, a kind of a creative expression of those years, but
not like a weekly.
No. But I think we will. It's in talks right now.
Well, maybe we'll see a mini reunion at this year's Emmys because you're on the ballot, Catherine's on the ballot, Eugene's on the ballot,
yes,
Martin Short's on the ballot.
I know about Dan Levy.
Yeah,
Eugene's
we just
son
interviewed
is on
him.
He's so great. How about that? To see these kids
running the show with his father.
And he's doing such a great job. And he's a great combination of both Eugene and his wife Deb. Yeah, I bet there are more people I know on that. But yes, you're right. SCTV, amazing.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.